everybody, and welcome to the show. My name is Stronglegs, of course. Joined with me is Mike, and we have some pretty exciting matches. I mean, I think this is the debut on broadcast for both female teams, if I'm not mistaken. Mike, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't recall us having them on broadcast before. So this is the debut
That sounds
of
about right.
the two arguably best female teams in the world right now, who are residing in North America. Of course, that is CLG Red and Dignitas female. But first up, we have ATK, one of the giants that have been, like, yesterday they looked phenomenal, and they are up against CLG Red right now. That match is going to be a very interesting, Mike.
It is indeed. I mean, this is we don't get that much of an opportunity to see into the world of female CS
Hmm.
rosters. They come out to a few open tournaments and compete. Um and sometimes you get a little bit of action in these open leagues. And so I'm excited to see how they match up. ATK, obviously a really tough opponent. I
For
mean, we
sure.
just saw them take a Dust 2 match 16-3 where they were having a grand old time fragging and just destroying. I think it was Livid, just ruining their
Hmm.
day. So I'm kind of expecting some more of that just because ATK is playing so well right now. It'll
Hmm.
be interesting to see if that CLG Red roster can really mount the defense and make a game of this.
For sure. And I imagine CLG Red is probably aware of their performance yesterday on some of these maps and some of their recent performances overall. So I imagine they vetoed kind of accordingly and trying to maximize their chances of kind of winning this matchup on a map that they prefer. I think we might be almost ready. Nope, just kidding. We are not almost ready. But yeah, also talking a little bit about Dignitas female. So they're playing at about 10:30 Eastern, guys. They will be playing up against Zone GG, a team that I kind of have my eyes on. I think the roster is pretty well rounded. I think they have everything that they need to be a top contender. Maybe not now, maybe not, in a couple months, but I think if they can stick together in 3 to 6 months, I think they will be a top contender in MDL. I mean, the recent pickup as well with a Proto, that's a sick pickup.
Yeah, Proto's always a solid player. Proto is, I mean, he has the fragging ability. He's also
Hmm.
just super reliable, which is something that you can really build a roster around. He's kind of a cornerstone player,
For
right?
sure.
You know what you're going to get out of a Proto any game, any day of the week. And that's so valuable to be able to build around that kind of stability in player positions. And that's really what you appreciate from a player like that. So I'm excited to see him in competing in a roster. It's been a little bit of a journey for him over the last few
Hmm.
months of figuring out a place. He was competing in advance for a little while, I think, and really finding a home at the level that he belongs. So it'll be good to check in with that zone roster and see what they can bring as well.
For sure. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I saw a post from Kath today on Twitter saying that she's either stepping down or being removed from Dignitas females. I imagine they will be going through some roster changes as well. Now, I don't know who the replacement is, but I imagine we will see that new addition, or at least a tryout for that squad coming up as well. So, I mean, that's kind of a bit of an insight into the female scene as well. So I'm kind of excited, actually.
Yeah, that's gonna be fascinating. I don't know whether they'll have a set fifth or even if at this point, I mean, it just got announced today. You don't imagine Cat's gonna be playing with them. Presumably, there's some even no matter how good of terms you part on with a roster, usually there's some hard feelings at the end of
For
it
sure.
where
Yeah, for sure.
whoever was either leaving or it's not a great feeling. So we're gonna see somebody filling that void. It's just gonna be a question of who and how that team's gonna function because at least in the past, I haven't watched them in a little while, but in the
Hmm.
past, Dignitas Female has been a roster that's very heavily. They emphasize the team play and the utility element of the game. They emphasize
Really
coordination. That's
structured.
really where a lot of their strength comes from. So taking away a cornerstone player like Kath, who's been with that roster for a long time, we'll see if that really impacts their ability to play coordinated.
Yeah, I do wonder that. Yeah, that's a really good point, actually, as well. We're almost ready to go, by the way, guys. If you're wondering, we have about 9 players in the server. So, yeah, I mean, let's talk. What about, who are your dark horses, Mike? Tell me some of the teams that you're looking for, or maybe even some of the players to watch. Who are you keeping tabs on?
In this particular matchup or in the Winners League in
In
general?
this matchup, or just Winners League in general? We don't really talk about this often, I find. I like to talk about dark horses because they're kind of the, obviously everyone's rooting for ATK or, some of the top contenders in the league. So these are the obvious picks. But who is kind of like going under the radar and now slowly slithering to a top contender here?
Despite taking the L, I think it was yesterday, I actually do still have Polar Ace as sort of a dark horse. I think they were 2-0 at that point, so taking a loss wasn't the worst thing in the
Hmm.
world. And so I think they have a pretty good odd of making playoffs. And I think that as they start to gel, they have a pretty good odd of doing damage in that. Player that's really used to impress me is Jonah P.
Yeah,
He's
he's
the kind of
sick
player.
yesterday as well.
He's super sick, and you
Mhm.
just have a few rounds where he does ridiculous stuff that you don't expect him to break out. So that's
Okay,
a dark horse
okay.
roster for me. This zone roster, I'm really curious to watch. I don't have anything to base it on, but knowing that a Proto's now on the squad is
Mhm.
very encouraging, and I just want to see more from them to really get an idea of what to expect. Um,
Yeah, I remember this roster is like an older iteration of it. I can't remember. I think it was KRZ on the roster back then with Hunter. I don't remember I think it was like G-Man, Tiz. They had like a really strange roster like a couple seasons ago, maybe 6 months ago. But that roster was like one of my top teams to watch. I mean, they just looked so insanely aggressive, so confident. And man, Hunter just kind of been showing his colors in recent times, right? Like this man is a beast on the op. And I really want to see him flourish, and I really want to see him do well. They finally have an IGL. I believe it's Xander calling for them now. Main comes from a competitive background in Overwatch. He's been coaching. I think he coached FaZe at one point as well. So I mean that they have a good leader mindset. At least they have a leader on the squad. Hunter can kind of just take a step back, focus on his own game, and of course they have a couple young fraggers as well in the roster to round it out. So I can see why you're excited to watch Zone compete. But I think we're ready to go in these servers, so we can go ahead and just jump straight into that, and the action will begin. It's going to be an exciting matchup here.
Get it underway. Starting with just the knife round. We've got on the CLG Red side, of course, a roster that's been together for a while. Goose Breeder, Jennifer, Emmy, D, and Benny. Benita coming in. They've been competing together, I think, now for about a year with this particular set 5. Maybe even longer than that. It's been a minute.
Has Goose Breeder been on CLG Red for a year already?
Oh, maybe not. You're right. That was maybe, I'm trying to remember when that happened. I think last fall. I think it's been a while. No, because she was competing with them at Fragadelphia. So yeah, it's almost a year.
Wow,
That would
time
have
is
been
flying. Holy.
end of July, early August. So yeah, I mean, I don't know when exactly the swap happened, but it was close to this time last year.
All right, regardless, it's going to be ATK sending 4 players aggressively down Banana already in CLG Red with the 2 sets of utility. And, all right, Domps is already starting to clear out the Banana. Now, I think they're starting to realize there's 4 players pushing down Banana, so they will push Halls as a result. But ATK is looking to beat them as well. This is a race to the A bomb site.
This is just a murder snake of pistol players, right? You just push the bottom Banana, and then you instantly rotate. Now you know you're going to have everybody here and ready to frag. Goose will trade one. She's in towards the pit, and they've gained a little bit of space, but now they're hemmed in. There's no escape except through the CT players, and there are so many USPs just tapping away. They're going for the knife as well. Benny will punish that at the least, but it's USP shots to put it all down, and ATK claim the first pistol, and they claim it with a little bit of flair. It's not often you see that murder snake play broken out on the pistol round.
Yeah, that was a little bit unusual. I love how they're just both just racing to the bomb so you could get there first. I like that. It's funny. Ooh, the feathers and bones. Okay, okay. CLG Red, though. Pistols. Locks, mostly. A single flashbang for Benita and Goose Breeder with the only real upgraded firepower. And that's a P250, Mike. So this round, probably looking to get finished quickly here.
They've already taken the bottom Banana. These players are all hemmed in towards T-Stars. If there were nades, which they haven't bought any nades, if there were nades, this would be the perfect massacre moment, right? You check those nades down T-Stairs, you just eliminate players. It's going to be Sonic who tries to get the kills, and actually they drop 2. This is opportunity, except that the flank's already on, and Black Poison won't let them escape. That got dangerous for a moment, dropping a player top of Banana. Sonic is in kind of a one and done. It's not that surprising considering the weapon he has, but the AUG going down makes it expensive, and they don't actually retrieve it either, so that's maybe potentially a little bit of an error here for ATK. They will upgrade, so they got full rifles now to contend with the AK-47s, but it's not a terrible round for CLG, all things considered.
No, not at all. There's even a glimmer of hope for a bomb fight to go down there as well. Now, I do have to question if ATK's confidence will come back to haunt them. Of course, they're feeling confident with this matchup. They've toppled teams that are much higher ranked than CLG Red. So I imagine they're coming into this really aggressive, really confident. But that's a double-edged sword, right? When you get overconfident, you start to get kind of peaky, and if it starts spiraling out of control, then might get dangerous. But now CLG Red is starting to bait some of the utility out here for ATK. A smart decision, considering there's limited amounts for that for ATK here on the CT side.
A little bit of initial damage done, but this is a much more passive round from ATK, and Black Poison, as I say that, tries to get aggressive, and he's punished for it. Fady at least answers it back, so they keep it from getting to a man advantage situation, from really starting to spiral here. There's a lot of work still to do for these CT players, and Goose is up forward in towards the balcony. CLG, they're playing this slow and it's working out for them. If they can just sort of drag ATK through this, they might have a chance here. It's a boost up on the flower pot, though, for Sonic, and he's got support as well from J2, who's going to take the aggression and then fall off. So the bomb moving towards the top of the banana might cause a bit of an issue here, though. As I say that, JT is biting on this bait. He's rotating right off, so it's going to be left to Sonic, who's got to find it. He finds the first. Can he get the second as well? He cannot. So Benita might have an opportunity for a plant. She's going to transition over. They're not close enough to deny this. And the flank comes in from D, though she only gets one. She'll at least buy a little bit of space for Benita to work with. And now she can get towards a more forward position into the church and get ready to chop some heads as they round the corner to try and get towards this defuse.
But there's only 30 HP on her, Mike. She took so much damage from that duel that she won against Sonic. But now she's going to have to be very precise with the shots. 2 players coming up. Finds the first one, but just a little too long for that first kill. Not able to reset for Domster. And it is Domster picking up the round in ATK on the 3-0. Now, this bomb plant, though, this might... Ooh, they're like right on the edge of that buy.
They can do it. Everyone can get AK's armor up. And honestly, considering how expensive a round that was for ATK, I would like the decision. You might as well get aggressive here, because if you put that right amount of pressure on, if you can sort of crack the initial facade of this defense, you're through. Black Poison's glass cannon, that's another opportunity to put pressure on, and they're going to do exactly that. The rifles are out. They're going to go for it. Utility is limited, but if they play fast, they can limit their exposure from that. It's going to be the op towards mid, towards Arch, rather, that's really going to be key here for ATK. If he gets bullied early, if Black Poison drops this due to the glass cannon, it's going to be punishing.
Now, Domster understands there's a lot of pressure on them in this round. They have no utility, so they're going to have to contest something. So he's going to start off with Halls, and he just found himself an easy pick onto Benita in Hall. So that's a man up. And CLG RED, this might be a little bit difficult for them now. Get away from me, Mosquito.
That's the worst. Fortunately, your mic isn't picking up the annoying whine, right? The old mosquito noise. A man down, or a woman down, as the case may be, now make this a little bit challenging, especially with how much emphasis there is on this A-bomb site. They're just getting massacred out the balcony, and Domster from the pit is just a blender chopping them up into bite-sized morsels as they move through. ATK up to that nice 4-0, and as expensive as the last round was, this one was relatively cheap. It's the discount rate. They barely had to reinvest. Now they got all the utility, they've got the armor, and they're up against pistols, Roy.
Yeah, that was the most ideal round for ATK. I mean, they've reset CLG RED and made 5 players alive as well, so their profit is steep right here. Black Poison looking to go aggressive with the AWP. I like this aggression coming out from ATK. Don't let them think. Don't let them recover in any way. Benita finds the first frag onto Fady, and that's going to push Black Poison off. So, hey, a man up. A weapon that can be recovered, although it's not accessible yet. Actually, wait, Benita did pick that one up. She has
it. It was in towards Boiler. She snagged it as soon as it was dropped, and now they've got something to work with, and the CT defense needs to get careful. I wonder when CLG RED's going to figure out that immediately after pressure is applied towards A, ATK pulls everybody over here, save one. It's not an unusual setup for Inferno towards Banana. That's going to be an interesting one. Domster, though, with a swing and the frags, and he actually gets the 4th. What a spin from the Domster. He has really blossomed into his role on this team. And that's a nice little pirouette in towards the lane to snag the player trying to threaten him from the flank. ATK now 4 up. There was a little glimmer of hope here for CLG to get started in the round, but it ends at a wall named Domster.
And he's still alive as well. I imagine he's looking for that ace, but with 9 HP and not a very high amount of economy, they might just settle for a 4K. Now D, walking out of halls without armor. I imagine as soon as she's spotted, or as soon as there's any noise made, the trap will pounce, and there it is. The trap is pounced. 5-0, ATK. Another good round. 4 players alive. That's exactly the kind of rounds that they need. But now they're kind of at a scary economy here early, Mike. I don't really know how to feel about this. 7K for Domster. This is a post-purchase after full utility, full kits as well. Sonic, the AWP, who's kind of like secondarying with Black Poison interchangeably. They're at 5.6 for Sonic, 2.1 for Black Poison. Now, if this round is a round win for ATK as well, I'm kind of nervous for CLG RED. I think this is the swing round that CLG RED needs to pick up right here.
Definitely lost that advantage in the early economic damage. That's a nice kill for Jen, but she's immediately traded out, and Sonic finds more. So no real space allowed, actually completely denied and shut down. And that was the initial attempt into the round. So now CLG RED needs to regroup. They've been given a little bit of room towards the apartments, and the defense is split, but that won't matter if Sonic's just coming back to the well and finding frags like this. Now information as well. He's even going to get the tag through the panel just to add insult to injury. ATK looking good to take through their 6th round. Goose, though, catches somebody on their heels, and it's going to be left to Domster, the hero of the last, to find more. Of course, he's up to the task. The 2-player spray down comes through, and ATK looking clean, cruising through to their 6th round. They are looking a little bit like they're on autopilot here, just kind of catching players as they come through, and despite the early round picks for CLG Red, they're just not able to convert off the back of them.
Yeah, they're really going to have to tighten up on these multi-frags if they really want a chance in this matchup, I think. But it's really hard to kind of predict the way ATK is playing, right? Like, you get a kill and on Porsche really late into the round, you think, okay, one more player likely to be Pit, which is the usual anchor spot, right? Pit, site. But then you have Domster just hiding on the stairs, ready to multi-frag, and he's full committed to the spray. Like, they're not showing any fear. This kind of play is difficult to predict. Now there's going to be confrontation towards Banana. Emmy's drawn first blood. CLG Red has been doing a really good job getting those early picks as well, so off to a good start. Sonic down to 43 HP as well. If he falls here, that will be the B site open for business. But right now, CLG Red has this round in their favor.
The problem is this is, I think, the 3rd round now where they've gotten the opening pick and then they can't capitalize. And you're already seeing it be equalized by Sonic. There's heavy presence towards the top of Banana. They haven't really gained any forward positioning off of the back of this pick. It looks like they're going to go for some late bracket control here as we start to hit that minute mark and we eclipse it. But they've barely flinched. Yes, you've split the defense, but ATK have shown that even with only 1 player left on site, they're perfectly comfortable to hold it. So Fady's control towards mid. Everyone's going to be coming out of the apartments, and there's the first frag and a second for Domster. No problem. He has been looking rock solid from this position. He's going for more. So once again, despite early advantages, they're getting knocked down, and it's up to Fady to sort of tap it in and find the last 2. Domster is now out to a 14-2 line, and he is just feasting on CLG Red so far.
Yeah, CLG Red is really struggling towards that A site. I mean, they're doing a really good job, again, finding that opening frag. They're just struggling to convert these rounds and struggling with the mid-round adjustments. And I don't really blame them. ATK is just playing so well right now as well. So, the one thing that I do have to say, though, is that CLG Red really aren't utilizing Arch at all right now. Even though ATK has been showing, like, patterns of playing 2-2. And usually when a team plays 2-2, there's really no one Arch or Spawn to hold it back. So I'd like to see CLG Red pick up on this flaw, pick up on this gap, and start abusing that.
Well, hopefully with this timeout coming through, you might get your wish. They're presumably discussing what's been going on from that defense and how they can exploit it. And as you're saying, as soon as they get that opening pick with that split defense, CT Spawn is ripe for the taking, right? You can pressure them from both sides. You can make it really uncomfortable for them. They've just been really bunching up and all coming from one position. Yeah, they varied it. It's either mid, apartments, Banana, but every time it's a group of 3 and they get mowed down on entry. So a little bit of that split play, a little bit of that coordination might be the ticket here. This probably not going to be the round. It's just pistols, but never say never. An ATK double op out, tons of money in the bank. They're looking so very comfortable.
You know what ATK stands for by chance?
It's the name of an arena in South Africa.
Yeah, that
much I know.
Yeah,
I do not know what it stands for. I'm going to assume it's something not in our language.
I was hoping you knew. Now Black Poison, he has the op and he's holding it aggressively. Now the smoke does come out. This is of course a round, but look at this aggression from ATK. It's just so relentless. Black Poison might be overextended here. And he's with a P250, and that is definitely an overextension. But Fady's spraying through, and JT on the support, and this round is already over.
It's, again, like, yes, okay, they capitalized on the op in that round. They put some pressure on towards Arch, and yes, Black Poison was definitely playing it a little too close, a little too bold, trying to go for it with the P250, but ATK have so much breathing room here. They're so unpressured that they can do that. They can relax. They can try and go for some flash plays as opposed to maybe playing it super carefully because they know that they're going to have enough of a defense there to respond. Now they've got ops out on the T side. We haven't seen this yet. The question is, can they get the picks? There's the first, an opener as well. And we're going to see if they can convert. Sonic, though, he's still got the big green gun, and we know how deadly this man can be with it. And look at his flank. Domster's all the way through. Do they realize? Did he see Goose?
No, I think he found the gap. Oh, no. Benny's about to be really upset with this one. She's about to get sidelined, Mike. Oh, no, not the knife. Oh, the disrespect. Oh. I love it. I love it. That's how you get a match started. That's how you get a match heated, Mike. He's gonna go for more. He's not done looking for frags, and he's found Goose Breeder as well. No longer breeding geese.
The man was trying to grab an AK and he actually lost it. He's still finding kills. Domster in the backline, they just have no idea how to dig him out. They're split up, they're spread out. Now they've lost the bomb towards T-stairs and they have no idea where Dom could be. JT's trying to play catch with his CZ, I guess. And at least Emmy will take that opportunity to find another frag, but now they know where at least one of these players is, and they can just lock in the spot. It's all going to be to JT, or to Jennifer, rather, who will get mopped up from Dom, who was dominant that whole round. Just a snake in the back lines. He's up to 18-2 now.
With 2 assists as well.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, he's almost at 200 ADR, 176 right now. He's trying to climb to that 200 ADR mark.
We're 9 rounds in, Roy. That's nuts.
Yeah, that is nuts. The thing I was about to say as well is that the double op setup for CLG Red might have actually been the key had Domster not found that gap. Now, Black Poison looking to go aggressive as well. And of course, ATK has 2 primary oppers, right? Sonic and Black Poison. They can just throw the op between them. It doesn't really matter. Both of them are completely capable of opping and extremely comfortable. Now, Domster is still holding down the halls. He's looking to contest it once again. And the smoke that he throws here makes it... It's kind of like a false sense of confidence, right? Hey, early frag down Banana. That's great.
Once again, that's a bit of an overextension from ATK. And so now the question is, can they capitalize? They upgrade the 1 MAC-10. Now you've got extra to work with. You're full rifled up. The utility is stretched thin, but you've got smokes to get onto a site. They have the advantage here. They need to be able to press it. Black Poison playing conservative back towards Arch, though. He's daring them to come his way. That smoke will cover off and force him to reposition. This is the play you want. It's a little bit of pressure towards the Arch. That smoke goes deep. It's a little bold, and they line up for Black Poison. Oh, in an instant, it falls apart, and he can swing for his 3rd as well. So ATK, in this time, it looked like it was a good idea out from CLG Red. They were applying pressure the right direction, but Black Poison just moves through their smoke. It goes a little bit too deep and ruins their day.
Unlucky, man. They had the right idea, at least. They're slowly inching towards the right decision here. They're finding the gap for ATK. Unfortunately for them, it was just a tiny little bit too slow, and that missed smoke in library as well was detrimental. Nice grenade usage, and Sonic is picking them apart one by one towards Banana and Black Poison. He's on the flash flank here. He's already looking for frags.
There's the first. There's the follow-up for JT. Domster is pushing down mid. There's 3 players down mid now. And D is just wondering what on earth she can hope to do. The bomb's retrievable at the least. She's got that, but there is a pain train trying to find her at the moment. So tucked into the kitchen, just trying to find 1 kill, maybe steal away a rifle. It's unfortunately going to be difficult because they're playing the buddy system, and JT makes it happen with the USP. No problem here. He'll just go for the pistol for the extra speed, and he's hunting down the frags. It's 11-0, and these rounds have looked effortless for ATK.
I wonder how you could gain respect. I think it might be too late in this half to gain any respect, or even in this game it might be too late, but I do wonder if CLG Red could have done something early into this game to really gain that respect, besides winning pistol round. Okay, that's 1 for 1. Not bad. That's Sonic gone down too, one of the more aggressive players, but look at Fady, man. No respect whatsoever, but D, she has an idea.
I think this is actually the idea. You punish their ridiculous aggression. You realize what has happened. The problem is Black Poison has found himself the bomb, and he's going to find more. Still alive. He's going to be pressured from a couple different directions, but that smoke gives him a little bit of chance. And that Chase Chicken is going to cue him off. Finds the headshot. Now Black Poison has turned this into a 1v1. From a 1v4 to a 1v1, he has dragged this back. And Benita has no idea where he is on the other side of the smoke. He can just wait and toy with her. She's going to be walking in. Back turn. That's an easy frag. Black Poison pulls off the clutch. It was finally looking like a round for CLG. They hung back and punished the hubris of ATK, the over-aggression. But Black Poison says, that's all right. I'll bring it back for the squad.
Wow.
That's brutal.
Yeah, it's only brutal because the play that ATK is breaking every single rule in Counter-Strike. Let me just go ahead and say that, right? They're not abiding by any rule. They're not abiding by any structure. This is just raw teamwork aggression. Now fast play towards Banana. The utility is just too much to handle, and JT is just spraying them apart one by one. And the flashbangs are so effective, it has everybody blind, and the flank is, well, in 6th gear. This round was over in less than 30 seconds, Mike.
I mean, they're just unchecked. They're completely unchecked, right? They are racing down mid. They are pushing down banana. Whichever way CLG Red goes, they've got to expect aggression as soon as they round the corner out of T stairs. I mean, as soon as you're past spawn, you should be expecting a player up in your face because clearly ATK are playing race with the drag. The smoke goes down to block the first angle. Domster's already peeking in towards alt mid. He'll get one and be punished, but there's a second kill that comes through, and they're already a player down. CLG now battered back and losing bodies. It's just going to be Jennifer and Emmy to try and find something, and they're coming up with absolutely nothing. Need a clutch play out from Jennifer, and this has got to be feeling pretty hopeless at this point. They're getting into a desperate situation, and this half has been lost for a long time. Now ATK is just looking to pull off the flawless side.
Yeah, considering the aggression for ATK, I'm surprised to see Black Poison only has 3 deaths. That's just insane.
Oh,
18 kills, 3 assists, 3 deaths. They've been in middle every single round. Not even middle. They've been in alt mid fighting, Mike. They have no boundaries. They don't know what boundaries are right now. They're just stepping over everything. Look at this. Dude, Black Poison doing it once again. This time he cannot land the shot, so he will be punished for it. And CLG Red. Okay. Can they come on the board here, Mike?
A little bit of an upgrade potential as well. They're tossing that over. They're trying to keep the rifles up. AK's retrievable, and they're going to get it as well. So, gotta play this patient, gotta convert. Can't let them get back in, can't give them an opportunity, and Domster does slip away. He is a slippery one indeed. They're trying to go for the double peek, but he's not going to give it to him. And now ATK have turtled up a little bit. This is looking like a more reasonable round of CS. As I say that, though, JT swings into mid, and he finds the bomb. Benita should be able to punish that over-aggression, though, and that makes the bomb retrievable, but the problem is they've lost numbers in the meantime. Swinging into mid, Fady will once again drop that parcel of explosives, so despite the fact that CLG Red have converted on towards a site, they've lost the C4 in mid, and with it, they should have lost the round as well.
I could just see the reaction there for CLG Red. Guys, we have a bomb site. Oh, wait, bomb's down in the middle. We got to go back and get that, and Domster back. And Fady have a pillar of death ready.
They're not even going to move off of it. Emmy knows exactly what they're doing, and she just can't stop it. And that is so frustrating when you're in the game. I mean, look at that wall of CT rounds at the half. This is just
domination.
Rude. This is just rude.
Yeah, this is rude. This is extremely rude. But I don't blame ATK, right? If you have the confidence, if you're trying to work on your aggression, which honestly they seem to be, I think they're kind of like leaning in that direction lately, right? Erring more on the side of, you know, contesting and being aggressive versus being passive. And we can see that. Wait, how do they have
2 sets of dualies?
Yeah, how do they have 2 dualies in armor?
Oh, JT just dropped 2 sets of dualies. That's all he bought.
What the?
That's all he bought. That's actually kind of ridiculous. And now they're just rolling through the 4 guns leading the way. 6 total on the side, despite the fact that there are only 4 players now up. They're trying to battle down. They're trying to gain a little bit of space, and they will clear out the flank as well. So a man advantage and many, many pistols to be had as they try and bully through. Finding more and finding space and battering these players back, but Domster having to put a couple clips in his gun and going to give opportunity for Die to get back into this. It's all going to be Fady.
This is it, Mike. They could pick up the round right here on the board. Let's get it. Come on, Fady out in the open right now. He's tapping away. He's brought down to 47 HP, but Z has no armor. She can't tank too many shots here, and she thinks she's ran out of ammo, and she's going to walk straight into Fady, but they will never enter the scoreboard. We will never see that 1 on the scoreboard, Mike. It is a 16-0, a flawless victory.
That hurts. That hurts if you're CLG Red. Yes, you didn't have high expectations coming into this. ATK, obviously, a roster that's competing on a much higher level at the moment. You know, they're top of MDL. They're expected to really contest for that path in the Pro League next season. And they've been one of the undefeated teams so far in the Winners League, just battling opponents back, left, and right.
For sure.
But that was painful.
Yeah, I mean, I think with this kind of matchup, when there's a clear overdog, if you don't gain that respect in the first 5 rounds of a half, you're pretty much just going to get ran over the entire time. Now, as soon as ATK's economy was in that we can make mistakes and we can be aggressive and we're not going to suffer rash consequences, as soon as they're in that mindset, you really need to gain respect as soon as possible and kind of topple away their economy. Otherwise, they are just going to run you over. I mean, they did the same thing to Livid. So I'm not surprised to see ATK just continuing their aggression regardless of their opponent. So Congratulations to ATK. I mean, that was just a phenomenal display of talent. We saw so many multi-kills, so many highlight frags from them coming out right now. Unfortunate for CLG Red, but that is how she goes, Mike. No mercy here in Winners League. But besides that, I think actually so let's just go over the group standings here really quickly. We will have about an hour. It's going to be around the 50-minute break, actually, guys. The next match is scheduled for 10:30 Eastern. So let's go ahead and go over some of the group standings here for a little bit before we go to a break. That way we can get you up to date with the actual standings. Now, of course, ATK just picked up a win right here, of course. So they are at the 4-0, and CLG Red is at the 2-1. This is a very competitive group, Mike. Look at this. ATK 4-0. Big Frames 3-1. Lazarus 3-1. Polar A's are also hovering around that kind of the 4th seed as well. So this is such a tight group.
And it really is true. CLG Red could still advance. Absolutely. That was a bitter loss, but they've got 2 wins. I'm assuming those are over Livid and Various, although one of might be over Hysteria as well. If they take one more, they're in good company here. Even, I mean, there's still possibility to find a little bit of space here. You're pretty much counting Variance and Livid out at this point, though I suppose Livid could somehow make a battle back. I think it's rather unlikely. Hysteria also looking a little bit wounded, but that 4th roster spot, that 4th seed is
It's up
going
for
to
grabs.
be really contested.
Yeah, that is up for grabs, though. I mean, Polar A's is not having a phenomenal performance. Big Frames, I mean, yeah, they're 3-1, but that could easily swing as well. Now, of course, ATK and Lazarus, I think, will be the teams making it out of this group. No doubt about that. But I do wonder which teams will be kind of fighting for that 4th seed. I'm a little surprised to see Variance with the 0-5. I really thought they were going to do well in this group.
I mean, it's a roster that's still finding its footing, right? And I think they just need a little bit more time to do so. So Winners League is an opportunity to kind of practice for a lot of these newer rosters and figure
Sure.
themselves out and find themselves.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is if you go into it underprepared in this kind of a deadly group, you're not going to have an easy time of it. You're going to get battered instantly, and they just weren't ready for this level of competition. So I don't think it's time to really make any indictments on the roster since they are so new. But you got to get that sorted. You got to settle in. You got to be ready for this caliber of contest.
Definitely, that is a good point. Now let's move over to Group B here, see what's happening in this group. There it is, Singularity at the 5-1, losing to Ints last night. That is their first loss. Ints, of course, is at 3-0. Low-key Esports, the Young Guns, they're 3-1. They're looking pretty solid. And I think Las Vegas Minigunners, are they still competing under the Las Vegas Minigunners tag? I think that's the Apex team. Yeah, they are. Short answer.
I think so.
Wait, Party Astronauts are 1-3 in this group. I'm a little surprised to see that.
It's very odd. They've been. I mean, I think their 3 losses may have been against Singularity and Loki. I'm not sure. You might have to check me on that. But they've been as a roster sort of finding their footing. They've really kind of seemed lost since Floppy left that roster for Singularity, and it's something they've been struggling to find back with the addition of Septic. Sidestep now on the roster. They've been finding their footing. They've been finding a little bit of comfort.
Mm-hmm.
And so I expect to see them try and make a late dark horse push. I mean, you'd call it dark horse. They were favorites going into it, but a late push to make playoff seeding. But it's going to be tough. Fortunately, that 4th spot is wide open. I guess the LAV have the best chance, but it's still going to be challenging. I mean, one more loss and they're sitting with everybody else. This is a tough group, and there's a lot still to be played. Obviously, Singularity, top dogs. You don't expect them to really take any other losses. Ints, same way. They've only played 3 matches, but we've seen how strong they are against their top competition.
Mm-hmm.
You don't expect anything else. And I think Loki should be able to get 1 or 2 more wins out here to cement their place in the playoffs as well.
Yeah, and
but that 4th spot, once again, wide open.
Yeah, that 4th spot really is wide open. I mean, there's a 4-way tie with 1 win here. There's still a lot of hope for here. I do imagine Low-Key Esports will get at least 1 or 2 more wins in this group. I mean, they have a solid roster as well. So much firepower. They're actually a lot of fun, and actually one of my dark horses. Not the top of the chain on the dark horses, but still one of my kind of low-key teams that I keep an eye out for. No pun intended. But yeah, that pretty much sums up Group B quite nicely. Let's go ahead and proceed to Group C. And Team 1 with the 4-0, Mike. Massive impact, of course, a solid roster coming off a land win as well. They're 3-1, and Zone GG are at 3-1 as well. And with an overdog matchup as well tonight, so they're looking probably for that 4-1 tie-in with Team 1 here. So I do imagine the top 3. Man, this This is the group of death if there is one in Winners League.
It's really hard, yeah. With Zone GG playing well, this seems like the most clear delineation we've had yet. Chris and the boys was another roster that's trying to find a footing that you expected to maybe have some impact here, but it's clear that they weren't prepared early on, and that's understandable. They were going through some roster fluctuation, but it seems like with Zone GG out to the 3-1 early on, they've set themselves up nicely. And frankly, Bad News Bears, the fact that they're at a 2-1, I think it's just because they haven't played games yet. They are such a strong roster when they're on point. I mean, Typhoon, or not Typhoon, sorry, that's a
Hence,
massive impact roster. Tens, the other young fragger with the T as the start to his name, is a force to be reckoned with at any time.
for
And
sure.
so I really do expect them to climb into that playoff spot and cement themselves. This is just like, I would say the top half and the bottom half of this group are the most clearly separated.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I would agree with that. Now, this pretty much sums it up. I mean, if T1 Esports continue their win streak here, they're definitely going to make it out. I really don't imagine them losing 4 in a row. I think they'll get at least one of those wins, and as long as they get one more win here, they pretty much guarantee their spot. Really, the only... Yeah, actually, I don't think there's a 4th spot up for grabs here. I think this is pretty much cemented here. These 4 teams will likely be the ones making it out unless there's like a massive win streak by a huge upset by one of these bottom 4 teams.
If Bad News Bears start dropping maps, which I don't expect them to do, but if it happens, then there's a little bit of an opening here. There's a bit of a window. The problem is you're counting on a roster with incredible talent like PTR, like Tens, to really have flaws, and they just don't tend to with these kind of games. They tend to be very solid, and so that's really kind of wishing on a prayer that something's going to happen and break your way.
Yeah, that pretty honestly, this really just summed it up for us perfectly. Group D. Now let's check that out. It's the final group. I think this is the one with Luminosity, and yeah, I believe Luminosity has officially dropped out of the league. I think they're unable to satisfy their requirements playing in this league, so I think they go ahead and just dropped out. So that's why they're at the 1-6. So luckily for anyone in this group, they have lost one of the top contenders. But that being said, Royal has looked absolutely phenomenal in this group so far. I mean, they're at 4-0. Dogs of War at 4-1 right behind them. A team that I did suspect would do well, but man, 4-1, that's a phenomenal performance already. Mythic, of course, they're the gatekeepers in my opinion. If you can beat Mythic, you're kind of broken that threshold and you're on to the next step in your career.
Yeah, without a doubt. And this Mythic roster is going to be taking the game pretty seriously as well. From my understanding, they're pretty motivated going into this season and going into this Winners League, using it as a chance to gel with Lex back in the roster. So they're going to be tough. Royal as well, a team that's playing rock solid. But the real surprise here is Dogs of War, right? That's a team that's a little bit newer. Some names that maybe haven't been competing at the top level so far, but 4-1, maximizing their opportunities, taking the wins they can, battling every single game, and maybe making some surprises here. That's really well played for them.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. And of course, the Quest is also a little bit surprising as well. They're 2-2. Now, I do believe they're going through slight turmoil internally. I'm not entirely sure, but I think there were some changes, or at least some changes being discussed, I think, moving forward in their MDL season. I'm not entirely sure. Don't quote me on that until I confirm it with the players. But I suspect that's probably one of the reasons why they're kind of struggling right now. But that 4th spot, it's really still up for grabs. I mean, the 4th seed is 2-2. So that could be taken by any of these teams.
It certainly could. I mean, the loss of Luminosity, right? Luminosity dropping out of the tournament really just cracks this wide open and gives a lot of space for these rosters to capitalize. And if you're going to be a competitive roster, if you want to proceed and advance and up your level of play, you got to maximize when these kind of opportunities are given to you. So we're going to see who really managed to capitalize. Intact in the Quest are obviously the names to keep an eye on. But frankly, I mean, for Front, this is still very viable. There's nothing to really limit them. They just haven't played that many games. Cultivate, it's going to be a challenge, but there's absolutely opportunity here to capitalize on.
Yeah, I mean, Cultivate's also went through renovations recently as well, so they're kind of still in the building process. I do imagine they will be improving drastically over time as soon as they start getting that practice in, as soon as they start getting that grind in. But for now, they're kind of I think they've pretty much lost their chances at playoffs here. don't suspect they will be able to make it unless there's like a massive flop in the 4th seed and they all just start losing matches and it's a weird tie. But I think for now, Cultivate is out of the question for playoffs, and that is really unfortunate. I was kind of excited to see them play. But ladies and gents, that does conclude and sum up the groups for us so far. Of course, we will keep you up to date as the season progresses to let you know who will be making playoffs and all such things. If you haven't done so already, guys, please do follow our socials. That is Twitch, Twitter, and Facebook as well. We would love your support as well as Mike's and mine. Our ads are down below. Besides that, we will be back in about 40 minutes or so for the next match. It is going to be Dignitas Female versus Zone GG, who are now known as Rugrats, I believe. Unless I'm being trolled by Winners League.
They changed the name to Rugrats?
Yeah.
That's great.
But besides that, guys, we will see you shortly. Stay tuned and tune back in about 40 minutes or so, or keep your eyes on the timer.